Hello, welcome back to another installment of my Remastered series. What's the Remastered series? I feel like I can't even say it unless I use my air quotes. Remastered series is a series of videos that I first made when I first started the channel. And I'd used some music in them because I didn't know any better, and it ended up getting a copyright strike. And I had to mute the music in the video. And it ran like that for a while, and then I just decided to just make the video unavailable to watch because it was odd that there was this huge gap of just silence in it. So I pulled it down, we got new music in it, I tightened it up just a little bit because back in the day, I kind of talked a little slow and I didn't edit stuff very tightly. This video was released January 26th of 2022. It was the 5th video that I'd ever put together for this channel. Yeah. It's on a 1959 Athearn. It's an F unit with a B, a Baltimore and Ohio set. And I believe that this is a complete 1959 Athearn set. All the cars that are with it, we restored the entire set. The cars are all period correct. I looked them up in the catalogs. I've never been able to find any catalog that shows that this was sold as a set. But I think it is because it was all in the same box when I bought this lot. So I'm assuming that it's a set. Some of the things that you'll notice as you watch this is that this is what I call my hippie days. I had a little longer hair and I looked kind of homeless. So that's the first thing you'll notice if you haven't seen any of my older videos. I didn't own a fiberglass pencil yet, so I was using a little piece of a bright boy to polish up armatures and wheels and things like that. I didn't even know about them. I had yet to put this shelf up here and hang this. Right here's where I hang the camera at now that just shoots straight down on this mat. But I didn't even have that going on yet. And I just set a tripod off to the side over here and it shot in kind of at this angle. So it's got a weird angle and, you know, we all start somewhere. And I started at the bottom. And I've clawed my way all the way to the lower and middle. We're running it around on my original layout, my folded dog bone layout. There's a lot of guys out there that says, man, I missed that layout. I liked it. I wish you would have finished it. Well, I guess the one that we do next is going to have a loop to it. This is going to be on a high F drive Athearn, and they say that, you know, these things got slot car speeds to them. Well, you'll notice that when I'm running it around, I didn't slow the footage down at all. That's exactly how it ran. I don't know if it was the tension of the bands that I used on it or what have you, but yeah, there wasn't much editing trickery in there because I didn't know how to do it yet. I was still just a kid. Let's get into this and check it out. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Classic Model Trains. I'm Ron. Today I'm going to be reconditioning a 1959 Athearn yellow box train set powered by an F7A with a high F drive. High F was a direct drive system using a rubber band to power each axle. This locomotive offered 8-wheel electrical pickup and it offered 8-wheel drive. The locomotives made almost no sound as they moved along compared to the gear drive systems of the time. Athearn introduced these drives in 1957 for the F7, the GP9, and the Hustler Switcher locomotives. In 1958, Athearn introduced the plastic-bodied RDC-1 and RDC-3 powered with the high F drive. In 1959, Athearn introduced the 462 steam locomotive with the high F drive. In 1962, Athearn offered the super-geared Super F7 as an option to the high F band drive. By 1973, most of the locomotive offerings from Athearn had a gear drive system with the exception of the RDCs and the Hustler. The stock Athearn high F drives had some drawbacks. The rubber bands of the time only offered about 2 weeks to a month of service before they needed to be replaced. Also, the locomotives had a very high top end speed. Some people would make reference to them being slot car fast. There was no ability to go very slow or crawl along. A lot of people claimed that they did not have a very good ability to pull large consists, and it took a lot of voltage in order to get the locomotive to start moving. There used to be an Ernst gear kit for converting them to almost normal. Advanced modelers would repower the Athearn GP7 and F7 with a Hobbytown of Boston drives with flywheels. Some would replace the motors and bands with a Pitman double shaft motor and thick rubber bands that were black in color and looked like round rubber O-seals. This rubber band drive was superior to the Athearn rubber band drive and did improve operation, but the Hobbytown drive was a better choice. Here's a quick shot of the train set before I started any refurbishing on it, then we'll get into working on that locomotive. We are going to start on this Athearn 1960 B&O F7 with the high F drive on it. The easiest way to tell that it's a high F drive, without the body being off of course, is the fact that these trucks, the axle on them is almost the same diameter as the wheels. So this is the easiest giveaway. Here the rubber band, the old rubber band is still visible right there, and it has rotted off over the years and stuck to it. This is probably up in an attic or something like that somewhere. This is what it would look like on the inside. Very simple. Motor mounted in the center. These drive lines come out both sides. Rubber band will go around the axle up into here. The rubber bands actually hold the axles on. This rear one comes off quite easy. Once the rubber bands are on there, it won't do that. To remove the rear truck, I removed the electrical feeder wire from the truck and it just drops out of the chassis. Next, I removed the rear driveline. This rubber was very old and brittle. The rubber closest to the rotor was seized on. I had to cut it off to get it out of the way. I wanted to inspect the commutator, so I removed the brush springs and the brushes. I was amazed at how long these brushes were. I could not get into the commutator enough to clean it, so I removed the front power feeder wire, unbolted the motor, and removed from the chassis. A couple more small machine screws to remove, and I got the brush holder out of the way. I used some mineral spirits to clean up the commutator, then used my Bright Boy to polish the brass surface. Using a toothpick, I cleaned out the grooves in the commutator. Now seemed like a good time to lubricate the motor shaft and bushings. I cleaned up the brush holder with mineral spirits and reassembled back into the motor. Cleaned the brushes and reassembled back into the brush holders. With the motor assembled, now's a great time to bench test the motor. And jackpot. I installed the newly serviced motor back into the chassis. The old rubber bands had broke decades ago and were left to decompose around the axles. A little scraping and wire brushing got them cleaned up and ready for service. The wheels are nickel silver, but they had tarnished over the years. Some time spent with my Bright Boy and I got them cleaned up and ready for service. The trucks seemed to be cast aluminum. I took my wire brush after them to get the oxidation off, making sure I cleaned out the journals where the axle shaft ride so current can flow through without any resistance. Instead of regular rubber bands, I'm going to try these ponytail holder bands I found at Walmart. Slip the bands over the axles and reassembled the truck assembly. Get this little screw in right and give the wheels a test spin. Looks great. I did the same for the front truck. Axles in the holes, get everything to line up, put the machine bolts in, and give it a test spin. To couple the drive lines to the motor shafts, I used automotive vacuum tubing from Napa. 1/16 of an inch inside diameter, cut to 1/2 inch long, and installed on motor. Put inboard band on driveline, then slide driveline onto rubber coupling. Installed outboard band onto driveline, and this drive band job is complete. I cleaned up the wire electrical connections and installed on the trucks and the motor brush holder. One important thing is to make sure that you've got your twists going the same direction. It's coming off the front of the truck, and then it comes up and it comes in on this left-hand side of the locomotive. This is the front end. This is coming off the front of the truck, coming to the left side of the drive line. Back here, coming off the left side of the truck, or the front of the truck onto the left side of the drive line. So that way you make sure that the thing does, that all the wheels turn the same direction when the motor is turning. Because you could put the rubber bands on backwards and kind of have it all bind up. So let's see if the thing will even run on the layout. Once I got it moving on the layout, it was very slow and really only wanted to run in one direction. I ran it for around 15 minutes and it slowly began to loosen up and perform as I expected. The top speed definitely began to come up once the bands stretched out a bit. Once I was happy with performance of the locomotive, it was time to move on to the rolling stock. I gave everything a washing in the sink with my scrub brush and my little toothbrush to get decades of dirt and dust off of everything. Let it all air dry out on a towel, and then begin to update the couplers and the wheels on the rolling stock. These Athearns are really easy to swap out the horn hook coupler and go to a Katie whisker coupler. It's almost like they were in cahoots with each other. Of course they weren't, because it was 1958 when this car was made. So you take out the horn hook. They've got this little spring on the side here, so these are engineered quite nicely. And then you get your whisker coupler, and it'll just go right into this pocket right here. No modifications whatsoever to anything on it. It's like it hangs up a little bit there. Might have to trim some fat out. Then if you want to put metal wheels on, these metal wheels on one side, this side here, you can't see any bushing right there. This side here, you see that black insulator? That's what insulates the two wheels on the metal bushing. So when you go to put these in, put these on both on the same side on a truck. So these trucks here are those cool ones that's got the springs inside there, and they're really flexible like this. You can twist these things. So what I like to do is I twist them and the axle will fall out. Then I get my metal axle. That axle's in. Take this front axle out. Make sure that my insulator's both on the same side. This is cockeyed right now. Put it in. Roll it flat. So you can see that both of those insulators are on the same side in there. That's how easy it is to update Athearn cars with Katie's metal wheels. We are getting ready to run this thing around the track. It's all done, it's all restored. We got the updated Katie's on it. We got the new Walther steel wheels. It's brought up into the 21st century, 22nd, this one that we're in right now. A while back, I brought up channel memberships. And a lot of guys out there said, I ain't paying nothing no more extra to watch you. I pay too much already as it is. I gotta watch all these commercials. Nothing changes if you don't become a member. There's still gonna be videos that show up every Monday at 10 o'clock. That's what I do unless something happened bad. We're gonna try to shoot them out again on Thursdays, a little shorter version of something, yeah. But memberships, some guys out there are asking for them. And YouTube has been telling me I need to do them for a long time. And I'm just concerned if I don't offer them, then YouTube might not promote the videos. I don't know. They won't say nothing. I gotta listen to the overlord. Shh, do what they want. We got memberships available now. There's 3 different tiers. Tier 1 has got certain benefits compared to the tier 2. Here's some screenshots of what the tiers would look like. Tier 3, the ultimate package, live video conferencing, and you know, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm learning. They don't give you no learning curve. It's just like, okay, and it's straight up. Kind of learn as we go with the higher tiers. I know there's guys out there that want them because they've asked for them, so now we've got them. You can see them from the join button that's right down here underneath the video image when you watch one of the videos. And that's it. There's nothing changes. If you don't want to join, that's cool. Completely, you know, I get it. Some people just, they like to support the channels that they watch, and this is just a way to do it. Helps me out, and maybe I can turn this into a real job and do this as a living, because I live very minimally, very minimally. Let's take a look at this train run around on the track of the old days with some new music in it that won't get me busted for demonetization for copyright strikes. So there's our third installment of the Remastered series right there, the 1959 Athearn set. I got about 4 more of these Remastered series that I want to put out over time. So thank you guys so much for watching them. If you've seen them the first time and you've seen them now, I hope they're a little better now than they were originally. So I'm Ron, Classic Model Trains. Consider subscribing, do a thumbs up, you know, all the things that help out the channel. Leave a comment. Take a look at the join platform just to see. Just root around in there. It won't cost you nothing unless you type in a credit card or something like that, I guess. So have a good one. Bye-bye.